Lord of the Mysteries. Chapter 620. Stand-in Mission. Inside the room, Southworth pressed down on the edges of his eyes when he heard Bilt's sigh. He said in a deep voice, "Boss, that important figure will arrive the day after tomorrow." Bilt's expression turned serious as he looked back. "I know. We only have two choices. First, we ignore whether Gehrman Sparrow is worth trusting, and we entrust him with the mission. We can only hope for the best outcome. Second, we immediately abandon our business in Orvie, leaving with our cash and jewelry to become pirates at sea. I have the confidence to make most sailors and adventurers on the pirate hunter follow us." Southworth paused before adding, "Boss, back when you were an adventurer, leading our ship and hunting pirates, you were always this decisive and tenacious. I believe you have already made your decision. There's no need for me to do anything else." "Ha, there's no need to suck up to me." Bilt smiled bitterly. "I'm no longer the fearless pirate hunter who didn't fear blood or gunfire from before. Long periods of an easy and comfortable life have dulled my will. I don't even wish to seek out chances to advance. Those companions who had turned into monsters still live on in my mind. Phew." He exhaled as his expression instantly turned solemn. "However, you're right. We don't have time to hesitate. We have to immediately make a decision." Having said that, Bilt turned his head and gestured at the window with his chin. Southworth was taken aback for a moment before understanding what his boss meant. After leaving the Sweet Lemon Bar, Klein strolled by the side of the street, planning to hire a carriage at the crossroads. At this moment, he heard a window open above him and saw a figure jump down. Perhaps after experiencing the terrifying incidents involving the Antigonus family's notebook and Banshee Harbor's strange telegraph office, Klein's first reaction was that Bilt Brando was dead. He had suddenly died after his visit and was thrown down from upstairs, falling to the ground with his eyes wide open. This was just like how he saw Ray Bieber's mother dead in a reclining chair back then. The body was highly decomposed, and the eyeball fell to the floor because of the external disturbance. Similar thoughts flashed through his mind as Klein discerned the figure who had fallen from upstairs to be Southworth Jan, not Bilt Brando. Furthermore, he looked normal and was clearly still alive. "Oh no, here comes trouble." Klein's heart skipped a beat, having a more accurate guess. If it were himself, he definitely would have pretended not to see Southworth Jan jump off the building to intercept him, running before the man could even say a word and until he shook him off his tail. It would be akin to how Admiral of Stars was being pursued by Knowledge. "Unfortunately, I'm currently Gehrman Sparrow. A crazy adventurer wouldn't flee because of such trivial matters. Sigh, getting to know myself better is an additional perk." Klein halted and watched as Southworth firmly landed on the ground. He bowed with his hand placed over his chest. "Mr. Gehrman Sparrow, we have a very important task to entrust you." "Here it comes," Klein calmly replied. "I won't be that free lately. This wouldn't waste too much of your time. You can first listen to what it is about before considering to reject or accept it," Southworth said earnestly. "I'm afraid I have no choice but to accept it after hearing it. Actually, it's still all right. If Bilt Brando and Southworth Jan threaten me to take the mission, I don't mind changing them into gold pounds and beyonder ingredients." Klein thought it through seriously and discovered that he didn't need to have too many reservations out at sea. Having the strength of a pirate admiral basically made him unstoppable in most areas. He took out the pocket watch in his inner pocket and opened it. "I'm giving you 5 minutes." "All right, that's enough." Southworth pointed at the entrance to the Sweet Lemon Bar behind Klein. Returning to the room, Klein glanced at the wall clock and said coldly, "You still have 3 minutes and 12 seconds. His attitude gave Bilt a baffling sense of ease. He began to believe that Gehrman Sparrow definitely had the capabilities to complete the mission. "Mr. Gehrman, I heard that you can transform into anyone, just like how Vice Admiral Hurricane Kalangos was formerly capable of doing so," Bilt hurriedly asked. "Who revealed this matter?" Klein pricked up his brows as his gaze towards Bilt turned gloomy. If news of Gehrman Sparrow being able to transform into anyone spread, it was quite troublesome for Klein. This was because this made others either think of creeping hunger, making them think of Kalangos' death, or they would think that he was a beyonder who had certain secrets, and was suspected to be a faceless. The former would attract the attention of the Twilight Hermit Order, while the latter would attract the attention of the Church of the Evernight Goddess, who would send personnel to investigate. Of course, the Church of the Evernight Goddess wasn't a powerful force at sea, so Klein didn't need to worry too much about it. He just didn't wish to be in conflict with the Nighthawks. If that happened, he had no choice but to abandon his identity as Gehrman Sparrow. This was at the critical point where more and more people knew of the crazy and powerful adventurer who had a soft heart while he was being acknowledged and gaining feedback. Bilt sensed the change in Gehrman Sparrow's gaze as he tensed up. He chuckled and said, "This was news released from the Black Death. Tracy. She's trying to seek revenge on me by doing so. One day, I'll successfully hunt her." Klein nodded slightly and said, "You can think of it as real." He didn't explain how he received his powers of shape-shifting, as this didn't match Gehrman Sparrow's persona. Bilt heaved a sigh of relief and said after 2 seconds of silence, "We're helping an important figure to search for a stand-in." Under Gehrman Sparrow's ambiguous gaze, he explained in detail. "That important figure needs to independently deal with a secret matter that he doesn't want others to know of. Therefore, he needs a stand-in to represent him in dealing with his daily affairs. He would meet different guests and socialize with his mistress without revealing a problem. He will take 3 to 5 days to return." We had already found someone who looked like him, spending a great deal of time to correct his posture and accent, and we had informed the good news to the important figure. Who knew that the tramp would overeat and suddenly die last night? That important figure is about to begin his operation. We do not have the time to look for another person who looks like him, so we can only seek your help. Isn't this the true acting opportunity I've been looking for?" Klein was moved. However, he sharply noticed one point. To be addressed as an important figure by Bilt, leader of the Adventurer Association, it definitely meant that the person was an important figure. Matters that happened around an important figure were often not simple. It contained quite a considerable risk. Klein thought for a moment before asking in a deep tone, "Do you think that this matter will be dangerous?" "No, as long as you aren't exposed, there shouldn't be any danger. You need to represent the important figure and appear at social conventions. No one would dare assassinate him." "Yes. I know what you're worried about. You're afraid that this important figure would silence everyone who knows about this matter after it's done. Don't worry, the pirates have fabricated plenty of vicious rumors about him, so even if this matter succeeds, no one will believe it even if you divulge this in the future. It will only be treated as a joke," Bilt said with a smile as he spread his hands. Klein no longer bothered with the topic and switched to asking, "What kind of payment are you offering?" £1,000, and 3 chances to get the artisan to make something for you." I'll pay for all expenses apart from the materials." Bilt made an offer which he believed Gehrman Sparrow wasn't unable to resist based on what had been previously entrusted to him. "It's not bad. Besides, it gives me a chance to do true acting." Klein took a look at the wall clock and said, "I'll return and consider. I'll give you the answer in the evening." Regardless, he had to head above the gray fog to divine the level of danger. Considering how Bilt and Southworth were Sequence 7, or even Sequence 6 beyonders, Klein didn't directly request to head to the washroom in front of them to prevent them from sensing a problem. As the important figure's identity hadn't been revealed, Bilt wasn't too worried. He nodded. "All right. I hope for a pleasant partnership." Williams Street. A stout man from Faysac who was nearly 2 meters tall was searching for clues. Suddenly he felt his spiritual perception trigger as he looked up. Light which resembled the morning sun's rays surfaced around his body, illuminating the surrounding houses and street lamps as though they were illusions. At the same time, sparks soared on the street as all kinds of supernatural phenomena appeared. Indeed, the Sauron family has sent people over. The man from Faysac who had his suspicions cast his gaze straight down the street. He saw nighthawks wearing red or black gloves as black gun barrels covered with complicated patterns extended out of the rooftops. They were aimed at him while the surrounding passers-by didn't seem to notice anything amiss. He also saw the Church of Steam and Machinery's Archbishop of the Backlund Diocese, Horamic, and the Church of the Evernight Goddesses Archbishop of the Backlund Diocese, Saint Anthony. Immediately following that, he caught sight of members of the Sauron family raising their hands above their heads through the corner of his eye. The powerful Faceax spies also did the same thing. They had decisively chosen to surrender. Resistance only spelled certain death. There was still a chance of being repatriated by surrendering. At 6:30 that evening, Klein once again came to the Sweet Lemon Bar where he met Bilt and Southeth. He expressionlessly said, "An advance of £500. Then, you will need to tell me who I'm supposed to change into." Bilt couldn't hold back his smile as he gestured for Southeth to collect the funds from the safe while saying with a deep voice, "He's the kingdom's highest-ranking Navy commander of the Central Sonia Sea. His Excellency Admiral Amirius Revolt. A real demigod."